Hello, welcome to Story Not Story. I'm Craig.
I'm Chyna.
And we are a married couple of humans who tell stories to each other before bedtime, before sleep time. I mean, it is bedtime. I mean, where do you draw the line? Is sleep time and bedtime the same thing?
Well, no, bedtime comes first and then sleep time follows.
So bedtime precedes sleep time?
Well, sure, because if it was sleep time and you hadn't done the bedtime thing, then you would just fall asleep wherever you were.
But sometimes people would say bedtime referring to sleep time, you know?
Well, then they're just confused.
Okay, well, what we've decided here, let it be known, the decree that bedtime and sleep time are two different things. Anyway, we tell stories to each other, and last time we requested you to tell us what our stories should be about.
Yeah, so this time we're going to be taking a couple of suggestions that people tweeted at us or wrote in to us.
Or Facebooked.
Or
someone yelled at me in the street.
Instablams or...
No one yelled at me in the street, at least about that, anyway.
Sure. You do have a habit of getting yelled at in the street a lot.
It's because I'm a jerk in public, and people want to yell at me.
Yeah. You're a jerk in private, too.
Hey,
sometimes.
Jerk, put your clothes on. Stuff like that.
That is a common phrase.
Mm-hmm.
I find.
I wish there was some solution to that problem.
I know. We'll find out eventually.
And yeah, our dog Mitzi is running around near us, and it's making noises. I apologize. If you hear a weird noise in the background, let's assume it's Mitzi. Okay, hey.
Hey, what else happens? Let's, should we tell them quickly if they want to write in story suggestions for a future episode?
Let's do that at the end.
Okay, no, then don't. You're not going to hear that information now. Stay tuned.
Yeah. Chyna?
Yes?
Can you tell me a story?
I'm going first this week.
I
think I went first 2 weeks in a row.
Oh.
And then you only went first 1 week.
Okay. How about, I got an idea. If you're not going to go first, how about I go first?
Okay. Yeah. I was going to ask for volunteer, but you volunteered, so that's good.
Because I'm noble.
Yep. Okay. Well, this suggestion came from someone.
Who?
The suspense is killing me, really.
Yeah?
Yeah. Azure Baumgarten would love it if you would tell a story that was a sequel to one of my stories.
Oh, no.
And I really think that we should...
Why did you pick that?
Because I want to know what's happening with Tumblin Toby and Queen Susan and the Cake Brigade.
Oh,
I want to know what's going on with those guys.
I was afraid of you were picking that one because you didn't know if I remembered the story well enough. But now I'm glad you picked Tumblin Toby because that story...
Everybody knows that story.
I've been replaying that story in my head since I think even before you told it.
Wow, that's impossible to have happen.
Nope, it was that good. It was already in the air, that story.
You could just feel it?
Yeah.
You could feel it, something in the air tonight?
I could, yes. So, I believe we last saw our brigands.
Yeah.
Maybe I should do a quick recap.
Yeah. What happened?
In case others didn't hear the story. So, Queen... Susan, of course.
Of course.
She gives cake out to her citizens, and
because they're just working really hard and they're awesome.
Who's telling the story?
Well, I told the story.
Oh, that's true. See, now you're gonna feel like you own this story as I tell it. That's fine.
Not the sequel though.
Okay.
This is the unofficial sequel.
This is going to be the James Cameron sequel, which means it's better than the original.
Hey.
No, that's not true. It's debatable whether Aliens is better than Alien. Anyway, but Terminator 2 is clearly better than Terminator 1, but he did both. Anyway.
Let's get back to Queen Susan and Tumblin Toby and the Cake Brigade.
Sure. So she gives cake out to her citizens, and there was this group of brigands that wanted the cake. So they broke in to get the cake. Tumblin Toby fell, and she heard them, and then she put them in jail.
Yeah.
And but gave them cake while they were in jail.
But like less special cake.
Like angel food cake, which wasn't very good.
Yeah. You remember this story really well.
I think I listened to it after kind of recently. So.
I'm really excited. So we're going to find out maybe what happened to the brigands in the
Is that
dungeon?
how it ended?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I've listened to it all the way through.
See, this is why I was afraid we were going to pick this one.
But it's going to be fun. It doesn't have to be right. It just has to feel good.
I think it was right. Uh-huh. Some sequels don't make any sense anyways.
As you were saying it, I was thinking, yes, that sounds familiar. So
I just wonder if anything else happened after that, but I don't think so. So the brigands were trapped in along with Tumblin Toby in Queen Elizabeth's kingdom, what's the name of the kingdom?
I don't know that it had one.
Oh.
So why don't you write that
I feel like the name of the kingdom should be established right now.
Definitely.
And the kingdom is the kingdom. It's the Kingdom of Thorns.
Ooh.
Yeah, which is a way to keep brigands away, but it didn't work on these brigands because, fun fact.
Yeah.
All of them were deaf.
What?
So they never heard the name of the kingdom.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And literacy wasn't super common back in
they didn't
Middle Ages, so.
Most things were word of mouth. They didn't even write them down.
But like signs and stuff.
Even though in this kingdom, Harry Potter is a known thing. So
that is super weird.
I know, but that's canon. That's what you established that.
Did I?
Yeah.
When did I say that?
You just did.
Okay.
And so it's pretty modern times. But their kingdom is in a special location where it's mostly word of mouth. They don't write things down. And all the brigands were deaf. So
let's be clear that deaf people very frequently, just like hearing people, can read. But
that's true. But
they just didn't. There just wasn't much written.
No, it was all word of mouth. Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so it was called that to scare brigands away. Also, it was called that because it was surrounded by thorns.
Whoa.
But not like right around it, like a little bit away from the periphery of it.
Sure.
So they're gonna try to escape.
Of course, from the dungeon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously. So here's what they do. Tumblin Toby, since he's the one who got them into this mess. Also, our air conditioning just kicked on.
Yeah.
That's suspense music. That's our version of suspense music.
Yeah.
Tumblin Toby has to get the key to the cage that they're in, and so here's what he does.
Yeah, I'm really curious because he is clearly trapped inside this dungeon.
He sure is.
How's he going to get the key if he's locked inside of it?
Well, obviously, he's smaller than the other brigands.
Is he?
As well. Yes, he is. And there's this little crevice.
What?
In the wall.
Maybe even a crevasse.
No. Definitely not a crevasse. Maybe a crevasse. But or a crevice.
Okay.
But and everyone's trying to squeeze through, and they just barely can't squeeze through. Luckily, they didn't eat all of their angel food cake.
Uh-huh.
And
now we know why Queen Susan gave them that angel food cake.
We do?
Yeah, because she knew that there was a crevice in the dungeon, and she needed to make sure that they couldn't fit through it. Security is not great here in the Kingdom of Thorns.
You're right. And, she could have just, put a board on the other side.
I imagine that there was a maintenance request in, but that, long list of tasks that need to be
accomplished. I'm assuming she just didn't know about it. It was just wear and tear.
Oh, I guess you are telling this story.
But no, that's a good theory.
Okay. I'll go right on the message boards about it.
They couldn't hear me roll my eyes.
He rolled his eyes incredibly hard.
You couldn't hear that? Wait, listen. That was me rolling my eyes.
That you should get that checked out. That was a really gross sound.
Yeah, not a lot of moisture in my eye sockets right now.
Blink.
Mm-hmm.
Blink.
Maybe I'll have to make this story sad so that I can get some moisture in there.
Okay.
So here's the thing. They didn't eat all of the angel food cake.
Right.
And as you know, angel food cake, after a few days, hardens like coal.
Sure.
And rock.
Yes.
Hardens into rock, basically.
Yes.
And because it's a horrible food.
It's not so bad.
No, it's not so bad.
Mitzi really wants to play
Mitzi
right now.
just dropped her toy next to me. This is not Mitzi. We're doing a podcast this is not very professional. This is a professional podcast, Mitzi.
Mitzi.
Anyway, so it's being recorded in GarageBand, for gosh sakes.
Profesh.
Yeah. So they take these several pieces of angel food cake. They didn't eat all of them, partly because they thought maybe they could skinny up and fit through the crevasse, or crevice, if you will. But they didn't skinny up enough. Tumblin Toby just barely can't fit, so they take the angel food cake and they carve into the hole with it.
Whoa. That is some tough cake.
It's some tough cake. It was a special recipe. Secret ingredient. Maybe it'll be revealed in the third one. I don't know what the ingredient was.
Okay.
But they carve it and they open up the crevasse and the crevice.
Whoa.
Just enough. It took a while. It took like 3 days. They were being fed other things in that time. They didn't just completely starve themselves. Susan was able to feed them not great food, but pretty okay food. Like tacos, but no salsa.
What?
Yeah.
And maybe like not Kraft macaroni and cheese, but like the store brand that's just not as good.
Like Roundy's. That was like a generic brand in Wisconsin where I grew up. Like Roundy's macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, that's just not as good.
Yeah. Or like Wall mac and cheese, like Walgreens brand.
Wall mac.
Yeah, Wall mac. I don't think that's a thing, but it should be.
It should.
Yeah. And so they carve the hole. Tumblin Toby slips out.
Uh-huh.
He slips out.
Yeah.
It's great. And so but he doesn't really know where to go. So he's kind of looking around, and the brigands are like, "Hey, find a key." But he's deaf, so he doesn't hear them. So he walks, but he decides on his own to find the key.
Right.
Because it's a good plan.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes and finds the key. Well, he looks around for a key, and he sees a sleeping guard with a key on his belt.
Always a sleeping guard.
Yeah. And so he has to sneak over to the guard. And he creeps on over to the guard slowly. Mm-hmm. Creep. And then a dog, a little Shih Tzu.
What? That's what our dog is.
Yeah. Jumps up on the lap of the guard, thinking that Toby wants to play. So he jumps up on the lap of the guard and like faces Toby.
Uh-huh.
Guard wakes up.
No.
Punches Toby in the face.
What?
Yeah. Toby falls over. It's Tumblin Toby after all.
Sure.
Like he was already on his way down anyway.
Pretty much.
Yeah. But on his way down, he grabs the key. Tumblin Toby, as you know, is very experienced in falling down.
Sure.
So he was able to have enough focus and wherewithal to grab the key as he fell down.
Well, it's like pickpockets, they'll like bump into you, like bump up against you, and then like take your wallet. Right,
but he didn't do it on purpose. That wasn't part of the plan.
He didn't fall down on purpose, but
yeah,
he saw an opportunity.
Sure did. Like to him, falling, it's sort of like the Matrix. Like it's like time slows down, and he can do things as if it's like 5 minutes going by as he's falling. To a normal person, it's just like a fall.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
So it's kind of like a superpower.
It is.
He's kind of like a superhero, but he also gets them in trouble.
It's called wherewithal falling, is what it is.
Wow.
Yeah. Wherewithal, if you will.
I will.
Yeah, okay, good. Okay. Good. And so he gets the key, and he also has enough wherewithal to put it in his back pocket as he's falling. And he falls. The guard's like, "Rah, you fell as I punched you." The guard likes to say the things
that
happen. Yeah. And he's like, "Now I'm taking you back to the cage." And so they walk to the cage, and the guard's like, "Walk, walk, 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 walk." Toby doesn't hear any of it.
Very literal.
But yeah,
guard.
Yeah, and he's like, now I'm opening the cage." And what?
Wait a second.
What?
How is he opening the cage?
Well, there's like a switch that's out of reach.
Okay.
Yeah.
He doesn't need the key to open it.
No.
Okay.
There's a switch out of reach.
Because you know who has the key. It's Tumblin Toby.
Obviously. There's a switch that's like across the way.
Wait, do you think maybe there's a switch that's like across the way?
That's exactly what I said.
Oh.
I forgot. The guard says, "Switch." And then the door opens. He's like, "The door is opening now. I am throwing Tumblin Toby into the cage." And he throws him. And as he throws him, it takes to Tumblin Toby, it's like 5 minutes before he hits the ground.
Wow.
But to everyone else, it's like just a normal amount of time for a falling person.
Sure.
Yeah. So.
What does he think about during that time?
During the time of falling?
Yeah.
Well, he thinks about how he really misses tacos with salsa.
Uh-huh.
And he really still wants some of that good cake that Susan... I mean, that's the entire reason the brigands broke into this place.
I know.
He still wants that cake.
Yeah.
And...
you kind of feel bad for him.
And he's thinking maybe we should try to go get the cake instead of trying to escape.
Wow, he really wants the cake.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they were there for. Why not continue trying?
Risking being imprisoned again.
Yeah.
Is there even any cake left at this point? It's been days.
I mean, they get new cake.
Sure.
Yeah, they get new cake.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Come on. Queen Susan is not a one-time cake giver. So she's like the Oprah of cake in this kingdom.
She sure is. You get a cake. You get a cake. Everybody gets a cake.
Yep.
Yeah. And they even form a cake club in the town.
Oh, and like each month they try a different cake.
Yeah, they do.
And then they meet up and they talk about it.
Yeah, sometimes the cake is written by famous cake makers.
Written by?
Yeah. Anyway, so Tumblin Toby hits the ground. The guard's like, "You hit the ground. To you it seems longer than to me."
Whoa, he knows?
Apparently.
Oh.
Yeah. But no one else knows that he knows because they can't hear him.
Sure.
So he shuts the door. He's like, "I'm shutting the cage door." And I don't know how he knows. I think he might be kind of like he can kind of read minds a little bit. The guard can.
So, superpowers abound in this kingdom.
Yeah, but the thing is, he wasn't able to read the mind of Toby having the key.
Sure.
I mean, that might be kind of a hole in the plot a little bit, but don't worry about it.
Okay.
That was intentional. You got to have holes in plots for sequels.
Yeah. And to give people something to talk about on the message boards.
Yeah. Something to talk about. That's a movie that needs a sequel. Something to talk about?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Let's give them something to talk about. That's a song, but that's also a movie.
Okay.
It's a movie starring Julia Roberts and Dennis Quaid, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not even
Is
sure.
it good?
I'm not even sure I've seen it.
Oh.
And I probably not my kind of movie necessarily.
I'm just curious why you think it needs a sequel.
I don't know, because every movie needs a sequel.
No.
I'm a sequel storyteller.
Okay.
And I could write it, but that's for another time.
Sure.
So
they have the key.
They have the key. They obviously they break up. They wait for the guard to leave. And they know they don't know when the guard's gonna go back because they can't hear him. But the guard announces when he's gonna go back. He's like, "I'm walking back now. Walking back, sitting down. Oh, I'm falling asleep."
That's helpful. That's incredibly helpful.
It is for a normal prisoner, but they didn't know, so they had to wait a day. They waited a day, and then they open the door, and they slowly exit, quietly exit. They go upstairs, and it's daylight. It's daytime. The town is filled with people.
Oh. How are they going to get out without being seen?
Well, at first they're like, "Oh my God, how are we going to get out without being seen?" But then they're like, "Oh, they don't know what we look like. Only Queen Susan knows what we look like." And maybe a handful of other people.
Sure. But yeah, I guess the townspeople were asleep.
Right. But then they're like, "Oh, we are wearing tattered clothing like we're prisoners. And we also have our brigand insignias on our
Well, that was a
shirts.
mistake.
Yeah, on our
I'm sure
uniforms.
they're regretting that.
Yeah. They were like, "Ooh, I regret that." In their minds. Most of them. Some of them were probably thinking about food or something.
Yeah.
But so they see a group of traveling musicians. They happen by.
Yeah. Did the group of traveling musicians have a band name?
They obviously, we can't be a group of traveling musicians without a band name.
Sure.
Yeah, so their band name was the Weird Monkeys.
Wow.
Yeah. They're like the monkeys, but they're like weird. They're really weird. Yeah.
Okay.
So they're like, hey, we're the hamsters. They say that.
That's pretty weird.
Yeah,
That's
weird because they're not the hamsters.
No.
They're the weird monkeys.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So they obviously wait until the musicians go to their performance stage that they're heading to, where no one else is around. They clobber them. They take their clothes and their instruments.
Uh-huh.
And they're on their way out.
Excellent disguise.
Yeah, but not for a group of deaf people. They're on their way out, and a citizen is like, "Hey," points at them and says, "Hey, it's the musicians. Play us a song."
Uh-huh. That's not going to work out well.
And
they don't know how to play these instruments.
Absolutely. So they have to go back to the stage because they see him pointing, and they figure, "Oh, they want us to play a song, and we're not musicians." Oh, OMG.
Uh-huh.
And so they go back to the stage. They can't even hear the instruments that they're playing.
Mm-hmm.
So they all look at each other with their instruments, and to be continued.
Whoa, a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Is that our first cliffhanger?
Yes.
Wow.
I didn't know this was going to ever be a cliffhanger type podcast. But,
Well. Okay. Until next time. Tumblin Toby and the Cake Brigade.
Hey, Chyna.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Do I need to name that story?
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
Tumblin Toby and the crevice squeeze.
Whoa, I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tumblin Toby and the crevice squeeze.
This is gonna rival the Harry Potter series.
I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
So, Chyna?
Yeah.
Hey, could you tell me a story based on the suggestion of Azure Baumgarten?
What?
No.
No.
Who says I would love it if Craig told a story that was a sequel of one of Chyna's or vice versa. Could you tell a story that's a sequel of one of my stories?
You picked that one too?
That's not what I picked before, but
you changed?
Yeah, because I kind of want to know the conclusion of the Tumblin Toby story.
You want me to tell a sequel to the story that you told in this episode?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. All right. Mitzi.
Mitzi just jumped up now. Okay. Hey, Mitz.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That. Sorry, I'm getting licked in the face. Yeah. Okay. Well, when we last left off, Tumblin Toby and his crew of brigands. Can you hear her sniffing into the
Mitzi.
microphone? We have a guest host.
Yeah.
This evening, Mitzi Benzine.
That's right.
She's gonna be here snoofing around.
Let's try to minimize that, okay, Mitz?
Okay.
All right.
And now she's leaving. Okay, so when we last left off, Tumblin Toby and the brigands were in a rather sticky situation as they were on stage, dressed as musicians, holding musical instruments, with no knowledge of how to play them at all. Mm-hmm. And the townspeople are waiting for their entertainment.
Yeah, I've heard. I've been waiting since.
I had to catch them up because what if they forgot?
Okay,
in the long period between the last installment and this installment.
I understand.
And also, I am stalling because I don't know what happens
you're putting the
next.
stall in installment right now. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So what happens is the thing that happens is they Tumblin Toby obviously has the guitar and he's like, well, I'm the lead guitarist apparently of this band.
I wonder how many times we have said obviously in this podcast. Yeah.
We're trying to sell it.
Yeah.
And he's like, aha, if there's no lead guitar, the show can't go on. So what he does is
Is that true?
It is in this story.
Okay, yeah.
It's going to be true. What else?
See that the air conditioning kicked on for suspense in this moment.
Yeah, it's pretty suspenseful.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not going to try to convince you that without a lead guitar the show can't go on.
Okay.
But like if Driftless Pony Club were playing a show,
that's my band.
That's his band.
Mm-hmm.
If they were playing a show, but is Matt lead guitar?
Usually.
Yeah. So, and he wasn't there, you couldn't do it. I've heard you play those songs without his guitar parts, and they don't sound right.
Sometimes you can.
Most of the time you can't.
Okay, you're right.
Listen.
Okay. Sure.
Okay. So Tumblin Toby is aware of this, and he's like, aha. So he forcefully strums an opening chord. He tries to. Doesn't sound very good at all. And that's the sort of thing that would turn some heads and cause people to be a little suspicious. Except he strummed the chord so hard, all of the strings broke.
Oh, no.
And then he was like, well, and he just kind of shrugged, and they all left the stage, presumably to fix the guitar and change the strings, and that they would be back. They put up a sign that said back in 15 minutes.
Wait, they wrote up a sign?
It was like pictures.
Okay, yeah.
Because there's not really
writing. It's mostly
writing.
word of mouth around there.
It's mostly word of mouth around there.
Yeah.
But they have pictures sometimes that sort of explain stuff.
That was brilliant of Tumblin Toby, by the way.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. He had to have a redeeming moment because he's screwed up so many times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so then they get off the stage and they're, excuse me, had to burp just a little bit. Sorry about that. So they get off the stage and then they're like, all right, we got to get out of here. We got to sneak by without these people noticing. So they all sort of like trade pieces of their clothes and with each other and like take off certain things to not look like musicians anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then they sneak off to the side and they kind of stand at the side of the stage for a minute to try to not look suspicious, and they're like, where's the musical act? We want to hear music.
Mm-hmm.
And other people are like, yeah, where are they? And they're like, they don't know it's us. And then they're like, well, we're leaving to go to our homes.
Can they hear those people?
No, but they know how to get by. They know how to communicate.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're like, well, we're going to leave and go to our homes that are in this village. Mm-hmm. They're definitely in this kingdom. We live in houses here.
They kind of over-explained it a little bit.
We're going to go back to our homes and our families, of which we have many.
They talked a little too much, I think.
And then they left, but people were like, those guys were kind of weird and they explained too much, but whatever. We want to hear music, so we'll just wait here for this band.
I mean, what else are they going to do in the town?
There's really not much else to do. The cake won't be served for many hours.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And
what is the health of this town? Are they just only eating cake?
No. As explained in part 1.
Oh.
They have full nutritious meals.
Oh yeah.
The cake is just a reward for being such hardworking
every
citizens.
Meal or every day?
No, it's not super. It's like once a week.
Sure.
It's a special occasion on the weekends.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously.
Yep.
So, Tumblin Toby and the brigands are walking out of the kingdom, and they get to the gate, and the guard is like, hey guys, where are you headed? And they're like, we're being sent to the neighboring kingdom.
Did they assume that the guard said this to them? Because
they are able to communicate. Let's just assume that they're able to communicate.
Okay. All right.
Okay. They're adults. They can get by in society.
Sure.
Yeah. So they're like, we're being sent on a royal mission to the neighboring kingdom of Delane Town.
Delane Town?
Yeah.
Oh.
And we're off to gather supplies and barter and smelt some things.
There's a lot of smelting that goes on in
It's the medieval times.
Yeah. That's what else are they gonna do?
What else are they gonna do? What is smelting? It's like metal things, right?
It might be. There's also smelt, which is like a type of fish or something. See, I think.
Sure. There's also smelt, which is the past tense of smelling something.
That's true. So. It's a very, very useful word. It's very versatile.
He who smelt it.
Maybe also smelt it.
Probably smelt it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He could have smelt something that he smelt.
It's just so multifaceted.
That's true.
Yeah. So, and the guard is like, alas, you are off on a royal mission, and I will not question that because it seems very likely to be true. You said it with great authority. I am just a guard. Good day, sirs.
Lots of people say what they think in this kingdom.
Yeah.
They just say everything they think.
Yeah, well, the guard is the son of that prison dungeon guy. Mm-hmm. So that's where he got it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a sort of family trait.
It doesn't seem like a good trait for a guard to have.
I know. How do they keep getting these jobs? Well, yeah. I think what's it called when
nepotism?
Yeah, I think it was nepotism.
Yeah.
That the son got that job.
Right.
Yeah. So then they're off. They're walking away.
What about the thorns?
I don't know. Well, let's see. Let's see what happens. Okay. I remembered them, though. Yeah, that was already going to be a part of the story. Yeah. For sure.
For sure.
Yeah, because it is the Kingdom of Thorns, after all.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone knows that except them.
I remembered.
They don't know that.
They don't know it's the Kingdom of Thorns?
No.
They don't know that there are thorns? They came in that way.
They came in from the air. They had hot air balloons.
No, they didn't. I wrote the first story.
Yeah, but I wrote the second story. It was I forgot to mention. Oh, I forgot to mention that. Oh.
They did not come in. I wrote the third story, and I said that what you said is wrong.
But I also said in the second story they didn't know that it was the Kingdom of Thorns.
Oh.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. Okay, they didn't know it was the Kingdom of Thorns, and now they're walking away. Somehow they missed all the thorns on the way in.
They came in by air.
They didn't come in by air. Okay, they came in by air.
Hot air balloon. Yeah.
I don't remember that happening in the first story, but...
No.
But it must have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they're walking away, and wouldn't you know it... Old Tumblin Toby.
Oh no!
He trips. You want to know what he trips over?
What does he trip over?
Nothing. Nothing.
What?
His own 2 feet, and he falls. And there's a little bit of an incline there, and he just goes tumbling.
Oh no!
Right down this hill. And you want to know where he lands?
Where does he land?
In some thorns.
Ow! But how long was that tumbling to him?
It was like 35 minutes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's like probably longer than this episode of our podcast.
Yeah. And on the way down, he was like, this isn't so bad. It's not really even that much of an incline. And... You know, when I get to the bottom, I'll just get up and dust myself off. Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, those thoughts only took, like, not very long. So then the rest of the time, he was like, man, I wish I'd gotten some of that cake. And maybe we should have just finished the angel food cake before it got rock hard. Because it wasn't the best, but it wasn't, like, the worst cake I've ever had.
No.
You know what was the worst cake I've ever had? My 12th birthday. My mom baked me a cake. This is what he's thinking about.
Mm-hmm. On its way down?
Yeah.
Yeah,
on his way down the hill.
Mm-hmm.
And then as he's tumbling down the hill, eventually he's thinking about, you know, his relationship with his father.
What was his cake on his 12th birthday?
Oh, it was like a oatmeal cake.
Mm-hmm.
It was very dense.
Ooh, that sounds good.
It wasn't, though. No. It should have been, but it was a new recipe. His mom had never baked it before.
Oh, too bad.
Did not turn out very good.
What's the deal with the relationship with his father?
So by the time he gets to toward the bottom of the hill, it's been like another 20 minutes to him.
Oh my God.
And he's just really thinking about all his regrets about his relationship with his father and how, you know, both of them were raised to not really show emotion, and it really affected how close they were and everything, and all the things he wished that he would have said.
That's very opposite of the guard and his father, which are like, they're just saying everything they're thinking all the time.
I know. Huh. Yeah. And Tumblin Toby was like, I wish that guard had been my dad.
Oh.
Because I would have been able to say what I felt, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But then he's toward the bottom of the hill, and now he can see this thorn bush that he's rolling toward.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like another 2 minutes of him knowing what's coming to him. Yeah.
This is a good time for the air conditioning to kick on.
It's pretty suspenseful. Apparently not suspenseful enough.
I guess not.
So then he tumbles right into the thorn bush.
Oh! He wasn't able to stop it, even knowing that it was coming?
No. It's gravity.
That's disappointing.
Man.
Disappointing.
Yeah, well... What can I say? And his friends did not help. They could have probably run down and helped him because they were right there when he fell. They wouldn't have been that far behind.
Well, they wouldn't have been able to stop the falling.
Well, no, they wouldn't have been able to stop the falling, but they could have probably, like, I don't know, kicked him or something. Kicked him out of the way. I don't know. But they didn't.
It wasn't slow to them.
I know it wasn't slow to them.
But,
I know how the story works.
Right, yeah.
I'm just saying if someone fell right in front of you,
yeah,
and it's not even that steep of an incline, it's like you could walk down it just fine.
Yeah.
You could, like, run after them and maybe like grab them.
I suppose. Yeah.
They were right there when he fell.
An agile brigand could do it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And there are several agile brigands. That's why they got hired into the brigand game.
Do they still have their instruments with them and everything?
No, they left them behind the stage.
Oh, I would steal them. Yeah.
They can't play them anyway.
Yeah, you could sell them for
Well, yeah, but then
cake.
When they're trying to sneak out of the city, it would have looked suspicious. They're carrying these instruments.
Hey, I understand what their choice. They made their choice. I would have taken an instrument or two.
Well, you're not telling this sequel, are you?
I guess not.
I guess not. Mm-hmm. I mean, sometimes it feels like maybe you are.
So, the thorns.
Oh, boy. Well, time stands still for Tumblin Toby because of the pain. Yeah. You want to know which parts of his body landed right in the thorns?
I don't think I do.
His butt parts.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
His butt parts.
It
could be worse. It could be worse.
Sure. Yeah. Could have been his front parts.
Could have been his face parts.
Ooh, yeah. That wouldn't have been good.
No.
Nope. It was his butt parts and his back parts.
Okay.
And he's like...
Is this one called Tumblin Toby and his butt parts?
Let me name it.
Okay.
That is what it's called, obviously. But,
all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was what I was going to pick anyway.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And he's like, owie, 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 owie. And everybody else is like, whoa, ouch, that looks like it hurts a lot. And so they go and they help him stand up, and he's just got thorns all up in his butt.
Oh God! Oh God!
Yeah, and
that was the first time you said use the word in.
Well, like in a manner of speaking.
Okay.
They're not actually inside his butt.
Oh, that's a relief.
Yeah.
Okay.
Big relief.
Still bad.
A couple of them got in between his butt crack, though.
Oh, God.
That's not awesome.
Oh.
Yeah, those were the worst ones.
Wait, his crevice?
His crevasse.
His crevasse. Oh.
This is the best.
That was my favorite podcast moment right there. Okay, anyway.
Yep. And so they have to kind of carry him because he's got thorns in his butt parts, and they rush him off to their little hovel in the woods. And
they have a hovel?
Well, like it's sort of, a shanty, a shack.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And they
own.
Well, they don't own it. They built it.
So that's weird that
with,
they didn't know about those thorns. It's very weird that they didn't know about those thorns.
Well, you knew they came from the woods outside the kingdom.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you forget about the first story?
No, I didn't. But I thought they came from far away, and then they fashioned a hot air balloon and they floated over to the kingdom and landed near it.
No.
I think that's what they did.
They came from nearby, and that's how they heard about the cake to begin with, because word of mouth, and they were nearby.
And they were able to communicate and hear it, or learn about it. Yeah, but those thorns, huh?
I know.
This is a plot hole in the second story.
We'll figure it out.
Okay. Anyway,
so they take him back to their little shack, and they help him get the thorns out of his butt, and then they begin scheming, because by golly, after all they've been through, one of these days soon, they're getting themselves some frickin' cake.
Is that the end?
For now.
Oh, no. This is going to be an epic saga. This isn't just a trilogy, is it?
Apparently not. Keeps going on and on.
Well, next episode, we will tell different stories.
We'll tell different stories. We'll get back to Tumblin Toby and the Cake Brigade.
Mm-hmm.
And his butt parts.
We haven't heard the last of Tumblin Toby. He may have heard the last of us.
He may have heard the last of his butt parts, too.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
Owie.
So wait, what's it called?
Tumblin Toby and his butt parts.
And mine was called Tumblin Toby and the Crevice Squeeze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which sounds like it's directly related to his butt parts.
Similar. Yeah. Anyway, I guess that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed our stories.
I don't see how you couldn't have.
No, unless you weren't listening. But we got, if you want to send us story ideas or pictures from this one.
If you want to draw pictures from these stories that we told you today, oh my gosh, please do it.
Yeah, send them to...
Great.
On Twitter, we're Stories in Bed. Or on Facebook, it's facebook.com/storynotstory. Instagram is Story Not Story Podcast. Story Not Story Podcast is our Instagram.
Or you can email
us at storynotstorypodcast@gmail.com. And if you really like our show and you listen to it, say, on iTunes, for instance.
For example,
you could go over there and rate us and leave a review because it helps.
It does help.
I'm told.
And we like it. If you like our show, we like that you like it, and we want to know about it.
And tell your friends about it.
Tell your enemies about it.
Tell your frenemies about it and your enemens.
Yeah, and if you sit next to someone on the bus, be like, "Hey, do you like podcasts? Listen to this one." Yeah. And then just give them your phone.
Or
let them have your cell phone to listen to it.
If they're already listening to something, go, hey, that podcast you're listening to, it sucks. This one's better. And then shove your headphones in their ear.
Yeah, just insult everything that they love.
Actually, never mind. Don't assault anyone, please.
Okay.
Or insult them.
Yeah.
This is going off the rails real quick.
That's better. Yeah, your ideas are better. Yeah. Okay, never mind. Just tell your friends about it.
Yeah. And that is all, I think. I think we're done.
I think we're done.
Oh, wait. Why is the air conditioning on? And why is this suspenseful?
It's so suspenseful because we're awaiting the next installment of Tumblin Toby's not a trilogy.
Yeah, Tumblin Toby's not a trilogy. Thank you for listening. Good night.
Thank you for listening. Oh, good night.